Welcome to the HFY Tales channel. Remember to like and subscribe if you like the story. Enjoy and take care.
The golden sun dipped low on the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and pink, casting a warm glow over the fields of Thornwood Farm. It was a quaint expanse, filled with memories and the bittersweet aroma of earth and hay. In the distance, an aging barn, a once vibrant symbol of hard work, stood stoically, its weathered sagging under the weight of time. Here, among the whispering corn stalks and the hum of crickets, lived old Farmer Eli, a man whose hands trembled slightly as they tended to the land he loved. Eli had spent decades working the soil, carving out a life filled with challenges and rewards. But now, in his twilight years, an air of loneliness hung heavy around him, like an uninvited guest at a once lively dinner. With his wife passing away years earlier, the echo of laughter and conversations had faded, leaving Eli in a silent companionship with the wind and the trees. He would often find himself talking to the animals in a soft, soothing voice, working as if to fill the void of quietude that surrounded him. One evening, as he leaned against the wooden fence, gazing over the fields he had cultivated with infinite patience, an unusual sight caught his attention. A streak of bright light flared across the canvas of the night, descending rapidly until it vanished in a fiery explosion at the edge of his property. Curiosity pricked at his heart. Perhaps it was just the wind stirring up trouble, or perhaps something else entirely. A curiosity he couldn't ignore. With a cautious step, Eli moved towards the source. As he approached the smoldering crater, his heart raced, not with fear, but with a sense of wonder he hadn't felt in years. Was a meteor? A trick of the fading light? He could scarcely believe his eyes. The air was thick with the scent of burnt grass, and something else, something foreign alien. As the dust began to settle, a figure emerged from the wreckage, stumbling on uneven ground. Eli squinted into the gloom, disbelief washing over him. Standing before him was a girl, no, a woman, clad in what appeared to be a shimmering, metallic fabric that hugged her form. Her skin glowed faintly, and her hair fell like silken shadows around her delicate features. "Hello." Eli's voice broke the silence, a tremor of uncertainty lacing his words. The girl looked up, her luminous eyes locking onto Eli's, shimmering with a strange intelligence and vulnerability. She spoke in a tongue he could not understand, frustration evident on her face. Eli could feel her fear emanating from her, and his age-old instincts kicked in. He took a slow step forward, hand raised in a gesture of peace. "I won't hurt you," he said softly, instinct pushing him to reassure the frightened being before him. "You're safe here." As his words lingered in the air, the girl's expression softened. A small flicker of understanding crossed her features. "Earth," she managed to utter, her voice melodic, yet tinged with uncertainty. "Yeah, this is Earth," Eli replied, relief flooding his system as he realized they had begun to communicate. You fell from the sky." She took a hesitant step closer, her eyes wide with a mixture of panic and wonder. Eli found himself mesmerized by her beauty, the aura that surrounded her. She was a creature of another world altogether. It stirred something deep within him, a spark of life he thought long extinguished. "I'm Zara," she said, gradually mastering the tongue of his planet. "Eli," he replied, a grin breaking through the lines of his weathered face. "Welcome to my farm, Zara." And so began the unlikeliest of friendships, an old farmer and a lost alien girl, two souls intertwined by fate. Little did Eli know, this encounter would fill his barn with more than hay and hope. It would transform his life in ways he never imagined. The first days after Zara's arrival were fraught with uncertainty and discovery. Eli led her toward the farmhouse, a small structure filled with the remnants of a life long lived, photos of a family he once had, kitchen tools that had seen better days, and an old clock that ticked like a heartbeat in the stillness of the home. Zara marveled at everything, her eyes wide with wonder as she explored the rustic furnishings, running her fingers over the worn table and the dusty shelves. "What is this?" she asked, her voice lilting as she gestured toward a rusted plow hanging on the wall. Eli chuckled softly. "That's a plow. It helps work the land." The way Zara leaned in closer, her interest so genuine, ignited a flicker of joy in his heart. Over the next week, their bond deepened as days turned into a blend of loss and laughter. Eli showed Zara the workings of the farm, teaching her how to care for the animals. She was surprisingly adept, handling chickens with a gentleness that made them cluck contentedly at her touch. Eli found himself laughing more, the sound echoing across the fields, mixing with the songs of birds. "You have a way with them," he said one afternoon as she cradled a hen in her arms. "Like you have a gift." Zara looked thoughtful, her eyes reflecting the sunlight. "On my planet, we communicate with creatures differently," she explained, matching her tone to his, her voice softening almost to a purr. "They sense feelings and tensions." Eli couldn't help but be captivated by her description. "Is that how it is with people too?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. Zara nodded. "Yes, my people, we call it the bond of kin. It helps us understand each other." Eli, tilting his head, started to understand the rich history behind this enchanting being. Their conversations now flowed easier, filled with humor and mutual respect. As he shared stories of his youth, his family, and the land, Zara reciprocated with tales of her home, a world of bright colors, complex languages, and intricate traditions that were beyond his wildest dreams. But with light came shadows. Zara occasionally drifted into a silence, her gaze distant. Eli discerned the flicker of sorrow in her eyes, thinking perhaps she longed for her world. And while he understood, he also realized that every moment they shared brought her a step closer to this life, a life he was slowly opening to her. One cool evening, as they sat on the porch, watching the stars emerge against the darkening sky, Eli turned to her. "What do you miss most about your home?" Zara hesitated, the air heavy with anticipation before she replied. "My family. I was on a journey. I can feel them searching for me." Her voice wavered, and Eli's heart ached for her. "Maybe they'll find you," he offered gently, though inside he fought against the fear that crept up within him. The last thing he wanted was for her to return to a place without him. "But you're safe here, Zara. You belong with me, at least for now." She smiled, its warmth igniting a flicker of hope in his chest. "Yes, I feel safe with you." As days passed, Zara adjusted to her new surroundings. One day, while they worked in the barn, she seemed restless, distracted by something unexpressed. Eli noticed her glancing at the darkened corners of the barn, as if a thought flickered just out of reach. "Something on your mind?" he asked, wiping his brow with the back of his hand. "I can feel it," she said, urgency creeping into her voice. "Something within me. I must trust this feeling. It's strange, thrilling." "Thrilling," Eli echoed with a hint of caution. Zara nodded, a smile blooming upon her lips, her excitement infectious. "Trust is what my people rely on. It can reveal wonders." Eli watched as she spun in place, her demeanor shifting with confidence. He realized she was speaking of more than just her feelings. Something deeper was stirring within her. As Zara thrived, so too did Eli's connection to her turn from one of curiosity to an undeniable bond. Perhaps it was the way she laughed, a sound akin to tinkling bells that danced through the air, or the way she watched the world with pure, unfiltered awe. Soon, their relationship blossomed, threading a tapestry of companionship woven with trust, longing, and an unmistakable intimacy. One night, under a blanket of stars, they spoke of dreams, the flickering embers of attraction igniting between them. With every shared glance, the boundary between them began to blur. Zara shone, radiant and ethereal, while Eli, withered by life, felt invigorated by her presence. "Eli," Zara started, her voice dropping to a whisper that danced like fireflies. "In my culture, when two beings share a bond, they often—" The words hung heavily in the air, thrilling yet heavy with implication. Eli's heart raced as he held her gaze, a cascade of emotions washing over him. He yearned for her, a longing deep and primal, one that demanded to be acknowledged. "They often begin to create life together," Zara finished with a glimmer in her eye. In that moment, the barn's echoing silence faded, enveloped by the weight of their unspoken connection. Eli took in Zara, so different yet so profoundly similar, and felt the stirrings of a future entwining their paths, even if he didn't yet comprehend the fullness of that journey. Eli reached for Zara's hand, entwining his fingers with hers, an uncharted path opening before them. "Then let's see where this journey takes us," he replied, the promise of affection hanging between them like the stars overhead. Together, they were about to embark on a path that neither had anticipated, one filled with the danger of the unknown and the tender hope of companionship, their hearts aligned against the beat of the universe. As the days turned into weeks, the mundane rhythm of farm life intermingled with shades of the extraordinary. Eli became accustomed to the glimmer of Zara's presence, her laughter brightening each sunrise. The connection between them blossomed beneath the golden rays, growing roots deeper than either could have imagined. One warm afternoon, after a long day of tending to the crops as the sun cast long shadows across the land, Eli returned to the barn, exhaustion creeping into his bones. To his surprise, he found Zara surrounded by a gentle glow, her expression a mix of concentration and joy. She held a shimmering egg in her hands, pulsating with a soft light, casting kaleidoscopic patterns on the barn's wooden walls. "Zara," he called, his heart racing with both excitement and concern. "What's happening?" "Look, Eli," she exclaimed, her voice sparkling with enthusiasm. "I'm laying eggs. It's a part of my process." She moved closer, her excitement contagious, as she presented the vibrant egg to him, tinted in iridescent colors that seemed to shift with each motion. "I didn't know," Eli stammered, both bewildered and fascinated. "This is how your people reproduce?" "Yes, it's a way to connect deeper, to create potential life." Zara's eyes shone with an intensity that drew Eli in. "In my culture, laying these signifies the bonds we share. They're special, Eli. It means something." He stepped closer, mesmerized by the egg's otherworldly glow. "What does it mean for us?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Zara's gaze held his, revealing the world beneath her surface. "It means trust, a deeper connection, the forming of a family. It shows that we're meant to grow together." Eli's heart swelled. The weight of her words settled like a warm blanket around him. "Together," he echoed. The thought sent a shiver down his spine, igniting a mixture of joy and trepidation. Weeks passed, and with each egg that Zara laid, Eli's admiration for her bloomed. The barn soon became a sanctuary of vibrant, glowing eggs, each one a symbol of their growing bond. Yet, with every new addition came questions, concerns that gnawed at the edges of Eli's mind. "Zara," he said one afternoon, his brows furrowed in thought as he watched her care for the eggs. "What will happen when they hatch? Will they be different?" She paused, tilting her head thoughtfully. "Yes, they will be different, a blend of our worlds. My people and your people are different but united through love. That's our bond, one we can nurture and grow." The thought resonated deeply with him, filling his spirit with wonder, yet leaving a trace of anxiety. "What if they can't fit in?" Eli questioned, his voice wavering. "Every being has a place," Zara reassured him. "Even if they're different, love will always be their home." Eli considered her words, feeling grounded in her confidence. They were swapping uncertainties for hopes, dreams for possibilities. As their relationship transcended into something more profound, Eli found himself cherishing each moment, savoring the laughter echoing between them. But reality was not without its trials. One fateful evening, after a long day of work, the sky darkened ominously, clouds swirling overhead as if a storm was brewing. Eli worked quickly to secure the barn door, his mind racing with thoughts of Zara's eggs. He turned to see her standing outside, mesmerized by the gathering storm, her eyes gleaming as if she sensed the tempest. "Zara," he called, concern lacing his tone. "You need to come inside." But Zara stood unfazed, as if the storm whispered secrets only she could hear. "I can feel it," she exclaimed, a dazzling excitement sparkling in her voice. "Something is happening, something powerful." Eli rushed to her side, his heart pounding. "We need to get the eggs safe." "Not yet," she insisted, her gaze distant as she stretched out her arms toward the wind. "Trust me, Eli. This storm, it's a beginning." Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating the world around them, and Eli gripped her hand tightly, torn between fear and an exhilarating curiosity. Zara's face was bathed in a ghostly light, her expression fierce and captivating. With the storm unleashing its fury, Eli's protective instincts kicked in, but he didn't pull Zara away. Instead, he stood beside her, feeling the electrical energy crackling between them, sensing her unique power resonate like a heartbeat. Then, as if the universe answered her call, one egg radiated warmth, glowing brighter, pulsing in rhythm with the storm. Zara gasped. "It's happening." For Eli, time slowed as he watched her transform, her being filled with an ethereal glow, the air charged with excitement and energy. The other eggs began to resonate, joining in a symphony that matched the thrum of the storm. "Let it happen," she urged, her voice fierce yet melodic. Eli marveled at Zara, her power no longer a mystery. She was extraordinary, a true embodiment of life. The storm raged, but within the barn, a miracle birthed itself. The eggs began to crack, light spilling forth, revealing vibrant colors and soft sounds of life awakening. Eli watched in breathless amazement as small, alien forms emerged, embodying the essence of creativity and wonder. "Look!" Zara cried, her eyes sparkling with joy. Together, they gazed upon their future, the fruits of their bond blossoming against the backdrop of the storm. In the shadow of the storm's fury, Eli felt a deluge of emotion, both overwhelming and beautiful. Trust, love, and the unknown began intertwining in a way he never thought possible. Here they were, an old farmer and a lost alien girl, embarking on a journey that defied all paths, creating a life that was entirely theirs. As the first of their children filled the barn with soft trills and coos, Eli realized that nothing could keep him from embracing this reality. They were together, united against the world's chaos, and ready to face whatever came next. The harmony of life on Thornwood Farm flourished as the days turned into weeks. Eli found joy in immersing himself in family life with Zara and their wondrous offspring, the creatures that bore both their essences, their laughter and coos echoing through the barn. With Zara guiding him into the depths of connection, Eli discovered a love surprisingly profound, a love that ignited new meaning for both of them. Yet, as spring blossomed into summer, whispers began to snake their way through the nearby town of Willow Creek. The curious, the fearful, and those without understanding began to speculate. Whose eggs were those? What manner of creature were they? Eli's once peaceful existence became tainted by glances of suspicion from neighbors he had known for years. "I saw her the other day," a voice raised among the crowd in the old general store. "They say she's not of this world." Eli's heart sank as he overheard the gossip. He had never sought conflict, but the murmurs mutated into an insidious wave, slithering through the community like a snake. Each day, he could sense the brewing storm. Fear nestled in the hearts of the townsfolk. One evening, as Zara and Eli tended to the growing brood, a familiar figure appeared on the horizon, a neighbor named Martha, a stout woman known for her sharp tongue and sharper gaze. Seeing her approach, Eli felt the tension sinking heavily into his chest. "Martha," he acknowledged, trying to keep his voice steady. "What brings you here?" I've heard some things," she began, her eyes narrowing at Zara, who stood nearby, her hand protectively covering the nearest egg. "Things?" Eli echoed, keeping a neutral tone. "Yes, rumors of a strange creature living with you. People are talking, not just out of concern for your farm's reputation, you know," Martha continued, her voice dripping with condescension. "What if those creatures are dangerous?" Zara stepped forward, her essence flickering slightly, the barn filled with an unsettling energy. "I am not dangerous," she interjected, her tone firm yet tinged with uncertainty. Eli placed a calming hand on her arm. "Zara is my family, Martha. There's no danger here." "But," she paused, struggling to find the right words, "but she's an alien. What do we know about them? What if they bring trouble to our town?" The venom in her voice ignited a protective fury in Eli. "You don't understand at all. Zara is more than what you see. She's brought life back to this old farm and joy into my heart. The only danger here is ignorance." Martha's expression hardened, and Eli felt the divide deepen. "You're letting passion cloud your judgment, Eli. Be careful." It would be wise to keep your distance from her and those eggs." The words hung between them like daggers, Eli's heart pounding as he stood his ground. He understood fear could twist into prejudice, leading to heartbreaking consequences. "We won't hide what we are or who we love," he replied fiercely, his spirit unwilling to back down. Martha scoffed, shaking her head. "I'll speak to the council. This cannot continue." As Martha stormed away, Zara turned to Eli, concern etching her features. "Will they come after us?" "They might," Eli admitted, but a renewed sense of determination surged within him. "But they don't know the love we share, or the beauty that comes from it." Days turned into tense nights, whispers of fear escalating as Eli and Zara became targets of judgment. Eli attended council meetings, his resolve tested as he defended his family. Yet, every argument felt like a battle against a tide determined to push them apart. "Eli, they don't accept what they don't understand," said Frank, a trusted friend, who cautiously tried to support him. "You need to be careful. They fear what they can't see." "I can't let fear dictate love," Eli replied, his heart steady despite the heaviness gripping it. He refused to deny the existence of their family. He honored the life they had created, a life anchored in love. That evening, after a particularly challenging council meeting, Eli returned home weary but resolute. Zara waited for him, a myriad of emotions dancing across her delicate features. "They don't understand," she said softly, her voice a gentle caress amidst the storm of Eli's thoughts. "I know," he replied, moving closer to her. "But they will. We just need to give them time." As a storm rumbled outside, the wind swirling, Zara's hand found his, warmth radiating from her as she turned to him. "Can I show them who I am?" Eli felt a wave of uncertainty murmur in the back of his mind. "What do you mean?" "I can reveal my powers, Eli. I can connect with the people, show them I'm not a threat. It could be a way to bridge the gap." A mixture of awe and fear washed over him. "You mean they might see you using your abilities?" She nodded, determination sparking in her eyes. "They will realize that love transcends appearances. I want them to know who I truly am." Eli debated the risk involved. The world outside the barn was fraught with hostility, and exposing Zara's powers could potentially lead to confrontation. "Are you sure, Zara? It could backlash against us." But she looked deep into his eyes, her immense resolve overwhelming his hesitations. "I trust you, Eli, and I want to show them why I'm here. I belong with you." Taking a deep breath, Eli relented, feeling the gravity of her words settle in his heart. "Then we'll do this together." And so, as the winds howled outside, mixed with anticipation and fear, they began preparing for a confrontation. Their story a story of love that could reshape the outcome of their world, daring to challenge the perceptions of those who clung to fear. The day finally arrived, a day Eli and Zara had steeled themselves for. Tension hung thick in the air as townsfolk gathered in the town square, whispers swirling like autumn leaves caught in a gust of wind. Eli stood at the edge of the gathering, heart pounding, his grip steady on Zara's hand. They had agreed to present themselves together, determined to confront the prejudice head-on. "Remember, whatever happens, we'll face it together," Eli whispered, squeezing Zara's hand. "I know," she replied, her voice a soft melody that calmed him. Her determination shone like a beacon, reflecting the bond they had forged against all odds. As they approached the front of the assembly, Eli could feel the eyes of the crowd narrowing, some filled with skepticism, others rich with curiosity. A murmur rippled through the gathering, and Eli recognized Martha's voice rising above the rest. "Is this the best you can do, Eli? You parade around with a monster and expect us to welcome this?" She called out, her tone dripping with derision. "Enough!" Eli stepped forward, his voice stronger than he felt inside. "Zara is my family. She is not a monster. She is a living being filled with love and compassion." Zara stood beside him, her demeanor unwavering. "I come from a place far away, and I may look different, but I feel as you do. I seek acceptance and understanding, not fear." The crowd's unease hung in the air, but as Eli looked into the faces around him, neighbors he'd shared years with, he saw the flickers of doubt, fading into curiosity. He took a deep breath, and continued, "Zara has brought life back to my farm," Eli declared passionately. "She's filled my world with vibrancy, laughter, and hope. What I stand before you with is proof of love, a love that transcends our differences. We have children, born from that love, and they will be part of this community." The murmurs grew louder, the tension sparking like fireflies in the twilight. Eli could sense the curiosity awakening within them, slowly tempting out the compassion held within shadowed hearts. "What do you have to show us?" A voice called, uncertain yet eager. Zara stepped forward, the essence of her being glowing softly. "I can reveal more of who I am. You deserve to know." As she extended her palms, the air thickened with energy. The townsfolk watched, awe spilling from their lips as a warm light enveloped Zara, illuminating the square. Eli held a breath, embodying the protective strength rising within him. With a soft hum that resonated in her very core, Zara focused her energy, drawing it from the earth and the hearts surrounding her. Suddenly, vibrant tendrils of light flickered from her fingertips, swirling and dancing in delightful patterns that captivated the watching crowd. "See," she said, her voice firm and shimmering like the light around her. "I'm not here to harm, but to share a gift, to show you the beauty that can blossom from acceptance." The crowd gasped, fear tempered with wonder as they witnessed the display of Zara's skill, the vibrant light curling into shapes of flowers and creatures that seemed to pulse with life. The children, faces alight with awe, began to laugh and clap, their innocence bridging the gap between fear and acceptance. Eli's heart surged as he watched Zara use her powers to create beauty and bring joy, illuminating not just the space around them, but also the hearts of those gathered. He turned to see nearby parents twinkling with pride and fascination, their children breaking free from the shackles of prejudice, embracing the light that Zara radiated. But there were still those who clung to fear, a shadow in the back of the crowd. "What if it turns against us?" Martha called again, skepticism dripping from her voice. Zara's expression remained sincere, undeterred. "Your hearts are where fear begins, Martha. We are not enemies. We are all beings seeking love. It takes courage to let go of what you think you know and embrace what you do not." As if her words had cast a spell, Eli watched the shadows recede from the faces around him, the echoes of trepidation softened by the unyielding surge of love Zara emanated. Slowly, one by one, hands began to clap, and murmurs turned from cynicism to praise. "I had no idea," a neighbor named Judith whispered, her eyes sparkling with newfound understanding. "This isn't just a monster. We can learn from her." Another voice chimed in, the atmosphere shifting like the branches of a tree stretching toward the sun. Eli steadied himself, heart swelling with emotion. "Together, we can cultivate a world where understanding replaces fear," he urged. "Zara has enriched my life, and I believe she can enrich yours too. Join us. Let's create a future where love knows no boundaries." The applause grew louder, the once fractured community converging into a union of acceptance. Eli felt his spirit rise like the sun illuminating the dawn, warm and bright. As they stood hand in hand, a farmer and an alien, Eli locked eyes with Zara. Their bond solidified amidst the celebration. The glow of acceptance surrounded them, bathing their family and community in profound beauty. From that day forward, Eli and Zara would nurture their land together, a family stretching beyond the confines of Earth and navigating the trails of love and acceptance as one. As they walked back toward the hearth of their home, filled with the sounds of laughter, of the small lives they had created, it was not merely the barn that transformed into a sanctuary. It became a symbol of unity, a reminder that love, no matter how different, could overcome anything that threatened to tear it apart. In their hearts, they knew, together, they could weather any storm. Years had rolled on like the changing seasons, shaping Thornwood Farm into a thriving testament of love, acceptance, and renewal. Eli and Zara had weathered storms, not just of nature, but of hearts and minds, together forging a haven that stood strong against the winds of judgment and fear. The barn, once a mere shelter for crops and livestock, now blossomed with life and laughter. Children, vibrant and curious, darted about the farm, a mixture of Eli and Zara, with gleaming eyes reflecting both their father's earthy warmth and their mother's otherworldly brilliance. They were a beautiful testament to a love that transcended worlds. One such evening, as the sun dipped low in the horizon, the entire farm buzzed with festive energy. The townsfolk gathered for a celebration, a yearly tradition they had dubbed the Unity Festival. Eli had taken this occasion as an opportunity to invite the community to cherish all that had grown from their acceptance. As families mingled, laughter spilled across the fields, bright against the backdrop of a lightning sky. Zara stood at the center of the celebration, radiant as ever, her children running around her legs as they played. With a flick of her wrist, she conjured shimmering lights that danced amidst the cotton candy clouds, delighting the crowd once more with the wonder she had brought to their lives. That evening, Eli took a moment to step away from the bustling festivities, feeling the gentle embrace of twilight wrap around him. He leaned against the barn, memories dancing like fireflies in his mind. He couldn't help but remember the night when his life took a turn, not just from the meteor that brought Zara, but from the way she had changed everything. "Beautiful, isn't it?" A soft voice broke through his reverie. He turned to find Zara standing beside him, her brilliance casting an enchanting glow in the dim light. "More than words can say," he replied, a smile blooming on his face as he admired her. "Oh, look," she pointed toward the sky. Stars began to emerge like scattered diamonds, twinkling in the darkening canvas, the awe of the universe reflected in their eyes. "Every star is a story," Eli mused, his heart swelling as he took her hand, the warmth of her presence wrapping around him. "And we've created our very own tale, haven't we?" Zara chuckled, a soft and melodious sound that echoed in the stillness. "Yes, a tale of love that cannot be contained by the limits of worlds." As they stood together, their fingers intertwined, the laughter of their children filled the air, mixed with the joyous mingling of friends and neighbors. Eli looked toward the field, where curious faces of the townsfolk watched the spectacle with wonder, not fear, but acceptance prevailing in their hearts. With a surge of confidence, Eli turned to Zara. "Do you recall the evening when you first revealed your powers to the town? How the atmosphere shifted." "It feels like it was a lifetime ago," she said, her gaze distant with nostalgia. "But that moment changed everything. Love transformed the shadows, and look how we've grown." Their eyes met, understanding blooming fiercely. Eli remembered the skepticism that surrounded them, the moments of doubt mingling with hope, a turning point binding them to one another before it transformed their community. "Together, we've bridged the gap, haven't we?" he said, voices low so only Zara could hear. "Yes," she whispered, a smile illuminating her features. "We are stronger united." The evening wore on, filled with festivities, kinship, and joy. As laughter blended with the rustling of leaves and soft melodies infused the air, Eli felt a rush of gratitude soar within him. They had built a life rich with acceptance, a thriving community open to learning and embracing differences. When at last the festivities mellowed and the children grew sleepy, Eli wrapped his arm around Zara, pulling her close. "What awaits us next?" he mused, glancing at their sleepy children, their futures shining brightly ahead. Zara rested her head against his shoulder, warmth pooling between them. "Every day is a new beginning, Eli. We will forever embrace the unknown together." As they turned toward their home, hand in hand, Eli felt an unwavering sense of purpose. With the promise of tomorrow stretching before them, a future where love knew no bounds, he was ready to face whatever journey awaited. Under the watchful gaze of the stars, Eli and Zara walked into the embracing light of their destiny, a story birthed in love and woven with acceptance, their lives intertwined, a testament to the beauty born from the mingling of worlds. From farmer and lost alien girl to a loving family that knew no limits, their hearts united forever. Together, they would continue to forge their new path, weaving tales and dreams, ripe with possibility. Through it all, they embraced the profound truth that love, in its vast and nebulous forms, would always prevail.